Have you ever wondered why you keep waking up at night? Not because of noise, not because of stress, but because your own body won't let you sleep. I've seen men who look perfectly healthy on the outside, but whose nights are ruled by the bathroom clock. They think it's just aging or maybe a weak bladder. But the truth I've learned after more than 20 years as a men's health doctor is far more unsettling. Sometimes the very foods you believe are keeping you strong are quietly inflaming your prostate and stealing your vitality, one restless night at a time. I still remember one of my patients, a 61-year-old man who prided himself on eating clean. He avoided red meat, drank plenty of water, and always snacked on heart-healthy nuts. Yet he came to me, exhausted, embarrassed, and convinced something inside him was breaking. When I showed him that one so-called healthy snack was the real culprit, his face changed from confusion to disbelief and then to relief, because finally the mystery made sense. That moment stayed with me because it reminded me how many men are fighting invisible battles they don't understand. That's why in this video, I want to clear the fog. I'll reveal the 4 everyday nuts and seeds that secretly inflame and enlarge the prostate, and the 4 that can actually calm it, restore balance, and bring your nights, your energy, and your confidence back. So before you reach for another handful of your favorite snack, stay with me. What you're about to learn might save you years of frustration and hundreds of sleepless nights, and it starts right now. It hides in plain sight inside your snack jar, your protein bars, maybe even your morning toast, the humble peanut. Most men see it as harmless, even healthy, a quick bite packed with protein. But what if that little handful is the reason you can't sleep through the night anymore? What if the comfort food you trust is quietly inflaming your prostate every single day? I've seen it countless times in my clinic. A man walks in, frustrated, exhausted, saying, "Doc, I've done everything right. No red meat, no alcohol, no junk food. So why am I still waking up 4 times a night?" And then I ask the question he never expects. How often do you eat peanuts? The look on his face says it all. Here's the truth most men never hear. Peanuts aren't nuts, they're legumes, and that difference matters. They're more likely to harbor aflatoxins, toxic molds, that develop during storage, especially in bulk or low-quality brands. These toxins stress the liver, the very organ that clears out excess estrogen from your body. When that detox system slows down, hormone balance shifts, estrogen rises, testosterone drops, and the prostate starts to swell quietly, persistently, like a sponge soaking up pressure. Add to that their omega-6 overload. Your body needs some omega-6, but too much without enough omega-3 to balance turns your blood chemistry pro-inflammatory. Think of it as turning on a low-grade fire that never goes out. Over time, that flame irritates the prostate, thickens the blood vessels, and makes those late-night bathroom runs a nightly routine you can't escape. One of my patients, a 62-year-old retired engineer, was the perfect example. Every night, he ended his day with 2 spoonfuls of peanut butter. He thought it was his healthy dessert, but his blood work told another story: mildly elevated liver enzymes, borderline inflammation markers, and constant fatigue. We swapped his peanut butter for almond butter, added a small omega-3 supplement, and within 6 weeks, his liver normalized. He called me one morning just to say, "Doctor, I finally slept through the night, so if you're a peanut lover, don't panic, just get smarter. Choose organic Valencia peanuts if you must have them. They're less likely to carry aflatoxins. Skip the salted, flavored, or hydrogenated kinds. Keep portions small and balance them with foods rich in omega-3 salmon, flax, or chia." The goal isn't to fear peanuts, it's to stop letting them silently run your hormones. Because here's the uncomfortable truth for many men over 50, it's not age that's shrinking your energy, it's inflammation you invited to your plate. And peanuts might just be the quiet guest overstaying its welcome. But the real twist, peanuts aren't alone. There's another snack that wears the healthy label just as proudly. Yet, it can make your prostate work twice as hard. Let's talk about that next. If peanuts were the quiet fire smoldering under your hormones, this next one is the gasoline poured right on top. It hides in the same healthy trail mix sold under shiny labels that promise heart health and clean protein sunflower seeds. Now, don't get me wrong, they look innocent, crunchy, natural, even earthy. But I've lost count of how many men I've seen who swear by these seeds and still find themselves rushing to the bathroom every 2 hours at night. They can't see the link because sunflower seeds wear the perfect disguise, natural, plant-based good fats. But here's the science no one talks about. These little seeds are packed with omega-6 fatty acids, especially something called linoleic acid. A small amount is essential, but when it outweighs your omega-3 intake 10-1, it flips your body's chemistry. Your cells stop cooling inflammation and start feeding it. It's like flooding your engine with the wrong oil. It still runs, but slowly burns itself out. And in men over 50, that fire tends to settle right where it hurts most, the prostate. Chronic low-grade inflammation thickens the tissue, squeezes the urethra, and suddenly that strong, steady flow you once had becomes weak, hesitant, and frustrating. Many of my patients don't even realize the pattern. They think it's just age, it's my bladder. But no, it's the food chemistry quietly turning their prostate into a pressure valve. One of my longtime patients, a 58-year-old mechanic, was a perfect example. Every afternoon, he sat in his garage, cracking salted sunflower seeds while working on engines. By the time he came to me, he was tired, irritable, and constantly interrupted by the need to pee. His blood pressure was up to another side effect of those salted seeds. We replaced them with unsalted pumpkin seeds and a handful of almonds instead. Within 3 weeks, he came back smiling, saying, "Doc, I finally made it through a movie without getting up once." That's how powerful these small changes can be. The body isn't your enemy. It's just reacting to the signals you feed it every day. If you love the crunch, keep it, just change the source. Go for unsalted, dry roasted pumpkin seeds or almonds or even a few walnuts. And for every omega-6 food you eat, make sure you balance it with omega-3s from salmon flax or chia. That single ratio omega-6 to omega-3 can determine whether your prostate swells or heals. Because what inflames you silently is what ages you fastest. And just when you think you've dodged the problem, there's another miracle food waiting to trip you up once the internet swears by for your heart, but that your prostate absolutely hates. It's trendy, it's tropical, and it's probably in your kitchen right now. Let's talk about it next. If sunflower seeds are the sneaky culprits hiding in your pantry, this next one is the charming villain dressed in white coconut. It's the one everyone calls miraculous. Coconut oil, coconut milk, coconut chips. They've been praised as superfoods splashed across wellness blogs and celebrity diets. But for men struggling with prostate issues, this miracle can quietly make things worse. I've had countless patients tell me, "Doctor, I switched to coconut oil because I heard it's clean and natural." And yes, it is natural, but natural doesn't always mean neutral. The problem is its saturated fat load. Coconut is over 80% saturated fat, one of the highest in the plant world. In the body, those fats don't just add calories. They flip a molecular switch called NF-kappa B, a master regulator of inflammation. Once it's turned on, it starts whispering to your cells, "Stay inflamed, stay active." That same pathway also boosts an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase, which transforms your testosterone into DHT, a more potent hormone. DHT is powerful, too powerful. And when it floods, the prostate cells start multiplying, tissue swells, and urinary flow slows to a frustrating trickle. It's like pressing the accelerator on growth while blocking the exit. One patient I'll never forget was a 65-year-old man who swore by his bulletproof coffee. Every morning, 2 tablespoons of coconut oil blended into his mug. He felt great at first, sharper energy, faster focus, but within months, his PSA levels crept higher. His belly thickened, and the night trips to the bathroom returned with a vengeance. When we swapped that coconut oil for extra virgin olive oil and moved his snacks to almonds and berries, the change was stunning. 4 weeks later, his PSA stabilized, and his nights were finally peaceful again. That's the irony. The very food meant to energize, you can quietly exhaust your hormones. And beyond the prostate, those extra saturated fats raise LDL cholesterol and slow circulation, a double hit to vitality. A healthy prostate needs oxygen-rich blood flow, not thickened arteries. So if you love coconut, treat it like dessert, an occasional indulgence, not a daily ritual. Keep it for rare recipes, not your coffee cup. Use olive oil or avocado oil instead. Their monounsaturated fats calm inflammation and help restore hormonal balance. Because the goal isn't to follow trends, it's to follow your biology, and your biology doesn't care about internet hype. It cares about balanced blood flow and quiet inflammation. But before you breathe easy thinking, you've removed the worst offenders. There's still one more snack that fools nearly everyone. It's creamy, it's addictive, and it hides behind a friendly face. Men love it. Their prostates, however, do not. If coconut is the charming villain, then cashews are the silent seducer, smooth, creamy, impossible to resist. They're the polite guest that overstays its welcome, sitting in every party bowl, every healthy snack pack, even your vegan dressings. And while they taste innocent, I've seen them quietly sabotage more prostates than most men realize. Cashews are rich, indulgent, and dangerous for one simple reason. They combine palmitic acid and moderate levels of saturated fat, a duo that flips the same inflammatory switch I mentioned earlier, NF-kappa B. Think of it as your body's alarm system that never stops ringing. Once that system is active, inflammation becomes chronic, hormones drift off balance, and your prostate starts to swell like a sponge that's soaked too long. And that's not the only issue. Those same fats feed the enzyme 5-alpha reductase, which ramps up the conversion of testosterone into DHT, the same overactive hormone that pushes prostate cells to multiply. When DHT stays high, you don't just feel heavier, you feel older, slower, weaker. Your nights turn restless, your mornings sluggish, and your confidence quietly fades. One of my patients, a 59-year-old man who considered himself disciplined with food, was struggling with constant urgency and incomplete emptying. He proudly told me his salads were clean loaded with greens and cashew-based dressings he made himself. And he didn't realize that each serving carried hundreds of hidden calories and inflammatory fats. We made one small change, replaced the cashew dressing with a light lemon and tahini blend. 6 weeks later, he'd lost 8 pounds without even trying. His nighttime trips dropped from 4 to 1, and his flow was finally steady again. That's how subtle it can be. Your so-called healthy habits might be quietly inflaming you from within. And there's one more layer to cashews. Most people miss copper overload. Cashews are high in copper, and while copper is essential, too much of it can fuel oxidative stress, tiny chemical sparks that irritate prostate cells and speed up aging. So, should you swear off cashews forever? Not at all. Just treat them like a luxury, not a lifestyle. 2 or 3 times a week in small handfuls, dry roasted and unsalted, that's moderation. But skip the flavored ones, the honey roasted, the salted, the glazed. Those turn a minor risk into a metabolic storm. Remember, when you combine excess calories, inflammation, and hormonal imbalance, you create the perfect storm for prostate growth and fatigue. Cashews just happen to check all 3 boxes when eaten carelessly. But here's the good news. Everything we've talked about so far has a mirror opposite. For every food that inflames, there's one that heals. And now that we've exposed the 4 destroyers, it's time to turn the tide. Because the same way food can silently harm your prostate, it can also calm, protect it, and rebuild your vitality from the inside out. Let's begin with the first healer, the seed nature, designed specifically for men. After years of watching men battle the same frustrating cycle, the late-night bathroom runs, the weak flow, the exhaustion, I began noticing something remarkable. The men who improved fastest weren't always on medications. They were the ones who changed their snacks. And at the top of that list was one simple, almost forgotten seed, the pumpkin seed. If peanuts were the villain, pumpkin seeds are the quiet heroes. They don't just sit there and fill you up, they work for you. Inside these small green kernels lies a powerhouse compound called beta-sitosterol, a plant sterol proven to lower the activity of 5-alpha reductase S, the very same enzyme that turns testosterone into DHT, the fuel behind prostate enlargement. Think of beta-sitosterol as a gentle brake pedal. It doesn't block your hormones, it balances them. Studies published in journals like Urology International have shown that men who include pumpkin seeds daily report smoother urine flow, fewer nighttime trips, and stronger bladder control, all without a single pill. But the benefits go deeper. Pumpkin seeds are loaded with zinc. And here's what most people don't know. Your prostate contains more zinc than almost any organ in the male body. Zinc keeps the tissue firm, helps prevent abnormal growth, and supports healthy seminal fluid. When zinc levels drop, often because of processed food alcohol or chronic inflammation, the prostate becomes vulnerable. Pumpkin seeds quietly replenish that armor. Then there's magnesium and vitamin E2 nutrients that soothe the tiny blood vessels feeding the prostate. They act like cooling water on a smoldering fire, easing tension and inflammation at the cellular level. That's why many men describe feeling lighter or less pressure just a few weeks after adding them to their diet. I remember one patient vividly, a 60-year-old teacher named Robert. He came to me after years of sleepless nights, convinced he'd end up on medication forever. We added one simple ritual: 2 tablespoons of raw pumpkin seeds every evening, mixed into a small bowl of Greek yogurt. 6 weeks later, he called and said, "Doctor, I actually slept through the night, no pills, no side effects, just seeds." His voice had that mix of disbelief and gratitude I'll never forget. If you're ready to start, here's how: choose unsalted raw or dry roasted pumpkin seeds, not the flavored or oily versions. Store them in an airtight jar in the fridge so their natural oils stay fresh. 1 to 2 tablespoons a day is enough. And evening is the perfect time. Their magnesium can even help your muscles relax for deeper sleep. You see, healing isn't about doing everything at once. It's about doing the right small thing consistently. A spoonful of the right seed can protect the very gland that defines your vitality. And while pumpkin seeds are the body's natural shield, there's another nut that acts like a repair team, one that nourishes your nerves, improves blood flow, and supports the muscles that help you feel young again. Let's move to that next. If pumpkin seeds are the prostate's shield, almonds are its quiet repair crew, steady, reliable, and deeply restorative. They may not look dramatic, but for a man's prostate, blood vessels, and hormones, almonds can be life-changing. I often tell my patients that a healthy prostate isn't just about hormone balance, it's about circulation. When blood moves freely, oxygen reaches every cell, inflammation cools, and healing becomes possible. And almonds, packed with monounsaturated fats, MUFAs, the same heart-protective fats found in olive oil, are circulation's best friend. Most men think of cholesterol as a heart issue, but your prostate feels it too. These same arteries that supply your heart also feed your pelvic organs. When those vessels stiffen from poor diet or excess inflammation, the prostate starves for oxygen and nutrients. That's when swelling and pressure begin. Almonds help reverse that process. Studies show that men who include MUFA-rich foods have lower inflammation markers and better vascular elasticity. In simple terms, their blood flows smoother, but almonds don't stop there. They're loaded with vitamin E, a potent antioxidant that protects the fragile tissue inside the prostate from oxidative stress, those microscopic sparks that age your cells. They also deliver magnesium, which relaxes muscle fibers, including the pelvic muscles that control urination. When those muscles relax properly, you empty the bladder more completely, reducing that nagging sense of not done yet. I remember a patient named David, a 63-year-old retired police officer. He told me, "Doc, I'm tired of feeling like my bladder's running the show." He was skeptical when I suggested something as simple as a daily handful of almonds. But he tried it, raw, unsalted, 22 almonds every morning with a few blueberries. 4 weeks later, he came in grinning. "I can finally sit through church without getting up twice," he said. His blood sugar had improved, his energy was stable, and that restless urgency had faded. That's the beauty of almonds. They work quietly, improving what you feel without you realizing it at first. Within weeks, your blood pressure steadies, your energy lasts longer, and those tiny pelvic vessels begin to heal. If you're going to add them, choose raw or dry roasted unsalted almonds, never the honey roasted candy coated versions that undo all the benefits. About 1 ounce a day, roughly a small handful, is perfect. Pair them with fruit like apples or berries for steady blood sugar and extra antioxidants. Because healing your prostate isn't about quick fixes. It's about retraining your metabolism to calm inflammation one smart choice at a time. Almonds are that daily signal to your body. We're done fighting, it's time to repair. And while almonds mend your circulation, there's another food that rewires your hormones, one that's been unfairly feared and misunderstood for decades. Many men avoid it because they think it's too estrogenic, but the truth is it might be one of the most powerful protectors your prostate has ever known. Let's break that myth next. For years, I watched men flinch when they heard the word soy. They'd wrinkle their brows and say, "Isn't that stuff for women?" The internet has done a brilliant job of turning a nutritious food into a villain. But when I started studying hormone pathways and reviewing patient outcomes, one truth became clear: soy doesn't steal your manhood. It helps you keep it. I know that sounds controversial. We've been told soy is estrogenic, that it somehow lowers testosterone. But that idea comes from half-read headlines, not actual science. In reality, soy contains compounds called isoflavones, particularly genistein and digoxin. They're phytoestrogens, plant-based molecules that are only weak mimics of estrogen in the body. Here's the crucial detail: they bind primarily to a receptor known as estrogen receptor beta, or ERV, which exists in high concentration inside the prostate. When those receptors are activated, they do the opposite of what men fear. They calm cell growth, slow inflammation, and even encourage damaged cells to self-destruct before they can turn cancerous. In populations where soy is part of daily life, Japan, Korea, parts of rural China, prostate cancer rates are 40 to 70% lower than in the West. That's not coincidence. That's biochemistry meeting culture. I remember one of my patients, Mark, a 57-year-old accountant with a family history of prostate cancer. He was nervous checking his PSA every few months. We added 2 servings of soy a week, steamed edamame in his salads, and grilled tofu in his stir fries. 6 months later, his PSA had dipped slightly, his waistline trimmed by 5 pounds. And he told me, "Doctor, I feel calmer. My energy doesn't spike and crash anymore." That's the power of hormonal balance: steady, quiet, effective. Soy also carries plant protein and soluble fiber, both of which help control blood sugar and cholesterol, two silent enemies of prostate health. Better metabolic balance means lower inflammation and a more efficient circulatory system, conditions your prostate thrives in. If you want to add soy, safely keep it whole and simple: steamed edamame firm, tofu, unsweetened soy yogurt, or tempeh. 2 to 4 servings a week are enough to see measurable benefits. Avoid the sugary soy drinks and fried snacks, they cancel the good. The men who succeed with soy don't treat it like medicine. They treat it like food. Consistency, not intensity, is what heals. Every serving whispers to your cells, slow down, repair, restore. And while soy balances your hormones from the inside, there's another seed that fine-tunes that balance and connects directly to your gut, your body's silent control center for hormone recycling and detoxification. It's tiny, earthy, and surprisingly powerful. Let's talk about that next. If soy is the voice of balance, flax seeds are the amplifier. Tiny, humble, almost invisible, yet astonishingly powerful. When I first started studying men's hormone health, I didn't expect something so small to make such a profound difference. But over the years, I've seen flax seeds quietly change the lives of men who had almost given up. Here's why. Flax seeds are nature's richest source of compounds called lignans, plant-based molecules that gently interact with your hormone system. Think of them as moderators in a noisy room. They don't silence your testosterone. They keep estrogen in check and tame the conversion of testosterone into DHT, the hormone that drives prostate growth. They do this by dialing down the same enzyme I've mentioned before, 5-alpha reductase. When that enzyme slows, the prostate relaxes, inflammation fades, and the constant urgency to urinate begins to calm. But flax doesn't stop there. It's also packed with soluble and insoluble fiber, which nourish your gut bacteria, and that's critical. Most men don't realize the gut acts like a hormonal recycling plant. When it's healthy, it breaks down old hormones and keeps new ones balanced. When it's inflamed, it sends chaos up the chain, and the prostate pays the price. Flax fiber restores that harmony, letting your body eliminate what it no longer needs. And then there's ALA, alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3. It's not as famous as fish oil, but it performs the same calming function, cooling inflammation at the cellular level, improving circulation, and subtly lowering blood pressure. Together, the lignans, fiber, and omega-3s form a triple alliance that supports not just your prostate, but your entire metabolism. I'll never forget Thomas, a 58-year-old engineer who came to me frustrated. "Doctor," he said, "I'm tired of medications that give me side effects, but no peace." We added one simple step: 2 tablespoons of freshly ground flax every morning mixed into his oatmeal. Within a month, his morning flow was smoother, the urgency gone. By his next checkup, his LDL cholesterol had dropped, his waistline was smaller, and he looked years younger. Not because of a supplement, but because his inflammation finally quieted down. If you're ready to try it, here's the key: grind the seeds fresh. Whole flax passes through your system untouched. Ground flax unlocks the nutrients. Grind a small batch once a week and keep it in the fridge. 1 to 2 tablespoons a day is all you need. Mix it into yogurt, oatmeal, or smoothies. Add it after cooking to preserve its delicate oils. Flax isn't a quick fix. It's a quiet revolution. Every spoonful trains your body to regulate itself, to steady its hormones, to heal from within. It's the kind of slow, invisible medicine that builds power over time. And now that you know the foods that harm and the ones that heal, it's time to bring everything together into one rhythm, one daily plan that works with your body, not against it. Because when you feed your prostate, right, you're not just preventing disease, you're reclaiming energy, strength, and the kind of deep, uninterrupted sleep every man deserves. Let's put it all together next. So let's take a breath and bring it all together. Over the last few minutes, we've uncovered the quiet foods that harm and the humble ones that heal. You now know that something as small as the nut in your hand can either inflame your prostate or protect it, either drain your energy or help you reclaim it. The difference isn't luck, it's awareness. Your body has never been against you. It's been waiting for you to listen. And every small change, swapping peanuts for pumpkin seeds, choosing olive oil over coconut, grinding a spoonful of flax, is a signal to your body that you're ready to heal. You don't need drastic overhauls, you need steady intention. Because consistency, not intensity, is what rebuilds vitality. If you've made it this far, it tells me one thing: you care about your health, your confidence, and your future. And I want you to know I care too. This channel exists for men like you men who want straight answers, real science and natural strategies to restore strength and balance at every stage of life. Before you go do one small thing for yourself and for someone you care about, save this video so you can come back to it anytime. Share it with a friend, a brother, or a son who might be quietly struggling. And if you found value here, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next update on men's health, vitality, and hormone balance. Tell me in the comments which of these foods surprised you most and which one will you start adding to your routine this week. Your feedback guides what I share next. And together, we're building a community of stronger, wiser, healthier men. Remember this: your health isn't slipping away. It's waiting for you to take it back. Stay consistent, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.